Hello, I'm Adam Clarke, Chief Underwriting Officer at Ageas, and welcome to Insured Insights. And I'm really pleased to be able to welcome Tim Rourke with me today. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks for having me, Adam. Nice to see you.
So we'll press the button and then a random question will come up on the screen and then we'll have a debate and have a chat. Go on, you press the button. What are your predictions for pricing landscape in 2024? Well, this is the question everyone wants to know really at the moment. It's been a massively turbulent 2022 and 2023, probably some unprecedented.
Yeah, I mean, when we go round and talk to insurers, I mean, we talk about the concept of the perfect storm where, inflation intervention by the regulator around, new business and renewal pricing, the use of data science and how well that's kind of been, embedded within insurance organisations. And, all of those things together has created a really challenging environment. And, I think that insurers have had to really focus on what they want to do in 2024, what parts of their business were they not so happy with, and what they want to sort of do strategically for the longer term so that 24 and 25 is in a better place. And I think that, in my experience, insurers are becoming, razor focused now on what they need to do to avoid or mitigate some of the challenges that they faced in 23, because it's not been easy.
And you're quite right. As an insurer, you're pricing for the next 12, 24 months, and what the inflationary environment looks like in that time is a massively important factor when we're thinking about our pricing. Yes. We have seen unprecedented price increases this year. They're at levels that I've never experienced in my career. But because of what's happened, we've had the Ukraine war, supply chain problems, inflation, weather events. It was that perfect storm. My view personally, and again, no one's ever going to be right on this, but I do think we'll see the increases start to subside. But there still is going to be some price going through the market. We've still got to keep funding for claims inflation. And we shouldn't forget, particularly in households, they're still at a relatively high level. Whereas motor seems to be coming down, I think the household market will continue to see some price increases. So, again, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we've had several different pricing plans. You may well have a plan, but actually, what the market does, and then what you have to do in respect, you have to be agile. You have to be able to alter that plan. Actually, many times a year. Actually, unless you do that, you really won't be successful in the current market environment.
Yeah. It makes me glad that I work for a consultant and not an insurance company, because these are things that I don't necessarily need to worry about. But appreciate it. It's a challenge, and again, agility, speed, being on top of things, understanding the market, understanding the trends that you're seeing, crucial skill sets for insurers, and never be more important and relevant, and adds to the complication of working in insurance even more.
Definitely. So. Go for it, go on. What role does pricing sophistication play in ensuring fairer and more transparent pricing?
Insurers, in my experience, they want to price the risk as fairly as they can, and if they cross-subsidise, which happens naturally, or as a purposeful kind of activity by the insurer, you want to understand why that happens and the levels to it. So I think that, again, use of data, use of good data science that's robust and good control and governance, and I think that data science needs excellent control and governance, allows you to understand risk better, and therefore you can be much more understanding of what impact that might have on customers. And when you're put rating changes through, you know why that's happening and you understand it and you can explain it. And I think that the organisations just need to be all over this, because the data science methodologies, machine learning have, it's all kind of known that they're more opaque relative to some other techniques. And I think that, being on top of that and understanding it and making that culturally embedded within your pricing committees and your teams, that for me is a crucial thing for fairness and transparency and looking after your customers.
We've always had a strategy here is trying to price for every individual, making sure that we recognise all of their individual characteristics and give them a fair and transparent price. But when you look at all the different data sources available, that's becoming increasingly more difficult to make sure it is transparent, it's fair, we've got the right controls in place. And we put a lot of work and effort into making sure that there's no data sources that are, protected characteristics or may well give a, sort of an unexpected outcome in terms of ethnicity or something like that.
Yes. Yep.
These are real hot topics in the industry at the moment, where the regulators are really stepping in actually and making sure that where we have all this extra data, we're using it in a very transparent and fair way, and we're not trying to disadvantage anyone as well. And that's going to be a key thing going forward as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, one of the things that we do as a consultancy firm is about helping visualise, as you say, all of those things, where these models were very opaque, making them transparent, giving insurers the ability. Because in my experience, insurers really do care, and they do want to make sure that they're not doing anything inadvertent that they don't know about that could be, harming their customer base who, they want to look after and, protect. So yes, it's crucial, and in my experience as well, I think that has lifted. That when you are using these models, there is a sense of responsibility, and I think a lot of people have reacted in the right way to make sure that it's all being used in a way that is everyone has a very clear, happy conscience around what they're doing as insurers.
Brilliant. Good. Well, I think this may be the last question, so I will give you the honour.
Thank you. The last one.
Will AI ever replace human underwriting? There you go. The big question.
The big question. The big question at the end. It's a very difficult question to answer, because I think you see some of the technology that's coming out, and you kind of, wow, that is quite impressive, scarily impressive. Whether you call it impressive, scary, and you see the titans of industry coming out and saying there needs to be caution with regards to AI. I at this precise moment in time, I still believe that there is an absolutely intrinsic role for humans in pricing and underwriting and claims and so on, and I don't see that will dominate the industry, certainly within my career. However, I do see that there is value with regards to automation and doing some of the kind of heavy lifting to allow humans to sort of do the value add, to actually let some machines do some model updating and monitoring, and let pricing and underwriting people do good pricing and underwriting, because they are still better. But it's a difficult one that every industry worries about and thinks about.
And I think very much the same as you. There's always going to be a role for humans, because there's still judgment involved. This is not a perfect sort of process where everyone knows what the future is going to look like. There's judgment, and where there's judgment, you generally need someone to help that judgment, or at least form an opinion. I do think roles will change.
Yes.
I think the nature of the roles will change. We've already seen that actually in some of our pricing roles. We've got something here around price for the future, and we're helping really make sure that our people have got the relevant skills for today. Maybe if you look at a pricing person 10 years ago versus today, the jobs aren't the same, they have changed. So there will be that constant evolution, but I do think there'll always be a role for humans. Brilliant. Well, thank you, Tim. I think that probably draws us to an end. It's good to know that there will be a role for humans in the future, and we'll maybe be here in the next series or two. Really just want to say thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. I definitely have. I think we've had a really good debate. And thank you for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.